Voice of Truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
Ready? Okay. Good luck. For the roads. Show where we're at.
Ready?
Please continue to submit your greetings and we'll be sure to read them throughout the show. Back to you, Sister Macy.
Welcome back to another episode of Explore Mountain State.
That's it for the weather
And
updates.
moving on to our district news update.
Only here.
On INCRadio, Mountain States.
Hello. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. You're tuning in here live to INCRadio Mountain States. So happy to see you all here on this beautiful Saturday and beautiful Sunday morning over there on the east side of the world. I'm your sister, of course. I'm your host for today, Sister Princess Versano, broadcasting live from Las Vegas, Nevada. It's always such a fun feeling, especially when we know we have an exciting topic for you. We say every week that we have an exciting topic, but I promise you every week is an exciting topic, especially today as we talk about financial literacy, managing your finances wisely. I know we've set many goals for this year, and when it comes to finances, we might not always have a good handle or good grip on how to set aside finances or even work on our allocation of our money. However, we have some awesome panelists who are experts in this field and who are going to be giving us their insight as to how to allocate or how to manage our money wisely. For now, if you aren't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, please be sure to subscribe to our INCRadio DZEM 954 YouTube channel and make sure you leave your comments and your greetings with us. I do see a lot of brethren. I just want to give a big shout out to Sister Melka Newcomb, who always is one of our first commenters. She did say hello to our awesome host. Thank you, boy. I take that as a beautiful compliment. And greetings to everyone here in the live chat and to all tuning in INCRadio Mountain States from the Newcomb family, #Henderson, #MTS, rock solid. So if you aren't already in the chat, please be sure to get into the chat. Leave your local congregation with your hashtag. Please be sure to stay engaged with us throughout the show. And throughout the show, we will have a lot of insight and discussion on financial literacy. So if you have questions in mind regarding that, please make sure you set that aside to ask us later on. As for now, if you want to stay engaged with us, do tell us right now what your financial goals are for 2024. Now, we do have our hashtag winners from last week. So Kuya Tech, whenever you're ready, please be sure to stay engaged with us so you can also be recognized for your participation. But Kuya Tech, whenever you're ready, let's go ahead and see our hashtag winners from last week's show. Now, we do have a running local congregation. It's always usually like West Las Vegas, Henderson, South Las Vegas. I know Colorado was there last week. Let's see. We have North Las Vegas as number 5. Number 4 is Blue Diamond. Number 3 is Henderson, Nevada. Number 2 is Denver, Colorado. And last but not least, number 1 is West Las Vegas. Great job, West Las Vegas. That is your second week in a row, if I'm not mistaken, or we are on our third show. I can't remember who was number 1 on the very first show we had, but technically for all of January, you've been number 1. So awesome job, West Las Vegas. I do see Brother Rod in the comments. He's also from West Las Vegas. Please make sure you stay with him and all of the West Las Vegas crew, as well as everybody else who is tuned in with us here on INCRadio Mountain States. Now, I know we have a lot of things that have been happening in our district. At the Macy, our district has been very active with our activities. So I'm going to cue it over to you for our CFO in action.
CFO in action.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of our listeners and viewers worldwide. It's a beautiful Saturday afternoon over here, and the District of Mountain States has been busy all week, with the many activities that are meant to edify our brethren. There are some pictures that we will be showing in just a little bit here. Our week started off with a Welcome My Brethren activity. They held this at the local of Las Vegas. As you can see, brethren there. So we invited the newly baptized, those that are Bible students, those that are on their way to becoming members of the Church of Christ, and missionary guests of our brethren. We welcome them for a short program. And also, of course, we always enjoy with wonderful food and wonderful company. Again, that is the Welcome My Brethren activity for the District of Mountain States that was held in the local of Las Vegas. Kudos to all of the LOS, or Light of Salvation officers, for that great job. And another thing very close to my heart, we did our choir day for the year 2024. Talk about starting the year right. It was a very spiritual service that was conducted. It was officiated by our beloved district minister, Brother Lowell Nukum. We see here hundreds of choir members, and this is the first time since the pandemic that the choir members in the district have gathered together in one place from all the other regions. Okay, in the past we would just do regional choir day, because of the pandemic, but now we are back to being together and we love it. In fact, 80% of the crew, or 70% of the crew that are with us right now, are choir members. So you can definitely relate, and I'm sure that you attended this activity as well. So what a wonderful picture too that was taken at the local congregation of Henderson. Right after the choir day special gathering, we did a special activity for the choir members at a sports complex near the Henderson Chapel, and we had everyone, the CWS choir members, the adult choir members, playing games, and it was such a blast. So thank you to our district choir leadership, our choir directors. Just a quick shout out to Brother Ellison Patio and Sister Angela Evangelista for putting together such a fun activity like this. It was a chance for the choir members to get together and to get to know the other choir members outside of performing on the choir loft. You can see the tug of war game being played here by the sisters. The CWS played dodgeball. It was so fun, and again, it just strengthens our conviction as choir members in the Church of Christ. I think the one that I enjoyed the most is this activity for the adults. It's basically rock, paper, scissors, but it was so fun. And lastly, we did another activity that's very special. It's for the Christian Society for the Deaf. They did a sign language seminar. I believe at the Princess is actually in attendance there. At the Princess, maybe you can give us some samples of what you learned on the CSD, or Christian Society for the Deaf, sign language seminar.
Sure. When my face shows after this, I will. But we did learn a lot. Sister Angela was the one who spearheaded this. She is our current acting president for CSD, and she did an amazing job teaching us some basic sign language. And I feel like with just this introduction, it really inspired a lot of the brethren to want to learn sign language. Even hearing the story on one of our sisters who was featured on INC Media, Sister Hershey, she also mentioned her story in sign language. But just being able to have this gives brethren more access to the words of God, which is why CSD is a wonderful organization to be a part of. And so if you are interested, feel free to contact Sister Angela, Sister Jasmine, and our kuya there's a brother in Arizona, and forgive me, but I can't remember who it was, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's Ate Crisette's husband, and his name is slipping off my tongue. Please, there we go. So so please be sure to contact any of your officers. So once we get our faces on camera, I'll be sure to show you what I learned. It was really cool. Again, basic introduction, basic communication, or conversing signs, so that you can just communicate at the very basic level. So it was really awesome. Thank you, Ate Macy, for that. Oh, here, I'm back on screen. So I learned, she taught us, hi or hello. And then she said, this is my, or if you're saying like it's with your finger. But my name, and then is, and then you would spell it out. But my name is a little easy. It's Princess. So there is a word for that. So it's P, and it's kind of like a sash across my chest. So that's your basic sign. And then we did learn a lot of other words. So it was really, really cool. And I really hope the district, the brethren in the District of Mountain States do join the next activity. So awesome. Thanks, Ate Macy, for the update with our district. Now, But Macy, if you could review the comments in just a moment after I introduce the panelists, we do want to say hello to our live chat. But for now, let's say hello to our panelists here, who are our experts or our guests to talk about financial literacy. Super exciting. Of course, we have familiar faces, starting with Sister Roxanne. Hi out there, Roxanne. How are you?
Hello, Ate Princess. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all our listeners and viewers of INCRadio Mountain State. So, I'm Sister Roxanne Sapna. I'm from the locale of Phoenix, District of Mountain States. I'm a deaconess and a finance officer. I'm a booklet officer in our locale, Ate.
Awesome. I love this. And then we have Brother Brian. Hey, Brother Brian, how are you doing?
Hi, Sister Princess. My name is Brother Brian. I'm from the locale of South Las Vegas. I'm the acting district president. I am a CLBOS teacher and an organist, and I invest in real estate. And I am excited to be on the show today.
Awesome. All the offices and all the fun things outside of church. So just to keep in mind, and we did ask our audience or our live chat earlier, but keep this answer in your mind as we go into our discussion in just a moment. What are your financial goals for 2024? Live chat, I did ask you earlier, so Macy, if we could actually read some comments and greetings, and if anybody answered the question of what their financial goals were or are for 2024, let's go ahead and see what they have to say.
Absolutely. Shout out to all of our live chat audience right now who are just very active and engaging. I want to call out our first commenter of the day, Sister Samantha from hashtag West Las Vegas. Thank you so much. We have the whole 11 family watching us right now, and also Sister Annalyn Tumbali from the local congregation of Denver. We have Sister Shay from Las Vegas, Sister Shay Chavez. Good afternoon, po. And Brother Abel DeSena from Albuquerque, New Mexico. So thank you. We also, of course, Sister Melka Nukum is joining us today as well. Hello, po, Sister Melka. And she's saying congratulations to the top 5 locals who are very well engaged on INC Radio. A lot of our brethren here that are watching are giving their special shout outs to the choir day, saying that they are proud choir members. And then we have Sister Rod. Brother Rod actually said, hearing everyone sing inside the main sanctuary gave me chills from start to finish. That was from the choir day that we just did. And that's from hashtag W Las Vegas. They said that they heard how beautiful the voices were for the choir. Thank you so much for that. And let's see here. Sister Melka says, greetings to all the brethren, officers, ministers, wives, and children of Mountain States from the Newcomb family. Hashtag Henderson, hashtag MTS, rock solid. Yes, let's see here. I'm looking for the answer. I'm looking for answers on financial goals. I know Sister Ina mentioned here that she has financial goals for the new year, but didn't specify. Brother Gian Salas, the goal is have enough money for a concert. Okay, so he's actually saving money for a specific concert there. Okay, that's great. Sister Mary Salsahis from West Las Vegas has financial goal for 2024 is to be more abounding in our offering, especially for year-end Thanksgiving. Okay, that is a very, very important goal. And lastly, I think that is it. Sister Marie had that last comment for regarding their financial goals for 2024. So hopefully this will help you. This episode will help you reaching those goals. At the Princess.
Yes, thank you. I did see Brother Anthony Arangai. He did pop up on my screen. He wants to learn more about investing. So you've come to the right show, Brother Anthony. Welcome to INC Radio Mountain States. So now let's move forward with our discussion for financial literacy. Let's actually start off with Brother Brian. Brother Brian did mention that he does invest in real estate, and we've had him on the show previously when we had our topic about home buying. So we're excited to have you back. So what are your goals, Brother Brian, for the new year?
Hi, Sister Princess. My goals for the new year, I have quite a few of them, but my primary goal is to reach a maximum capacity in my group home business. So my group home is the newest property that I purchased last summer. Another one of my goals is to sell my long-term rental property by the end of this month. We are very, very close to the finish line. So God willing, we can sell this rental property. It's actually the very first property that I bought back in the tail end of 2020. And lastly, I want to work on obtaining my administrator license, which is a position for overseeing other business owners' group homes. And I want to, in addition to that, I want to network with other influential real estate investors here in Las Vegas who also have an interest investing in group homes.
That's so awesome. Those are some adult financial goals. I love that. It's really inspiring
Thank you.
to hear that. And so I love hearing you talk when you have your goals. They're really, really for me like reach for the star goals in my head, and I know it's attainable for you. And so I think that's like really awesome. Let's ask Sister Roxanne actually, maybe even your thoughts on what Brother Brian's goals are. Those are really awesome goals to set.
Yeah, I agree, Ati Princess. And I think I did not mention what I'm doing right now. So right now, currently, I'm a licensed financial professional. I got my license last year, but also back in the Philippines, since 2015, I started my financial career. So back in the Philippines. So I actually have my own business too in the Philippines. So it's an auto parts business. So yeah, so my financial goals at the talking about financial goals for adults. So of course I have two kids, especially. So for my kids, I want to really save up for them for their for me to give them a good education without thinking, like for example, if they want to be a pilot or if they want to be a minister. So we will not be telling them, oh, don't, pilot is so expensive, so you cannot do that. So have an alternative. So for us, we want to plan for that. And for us, my husband and me, we want to retire early. Retiring meaning that even though we don't work, we don't really think about our money. We want to have a passive income. Passive
Mhm.
income is even though you don't work, still money is coming. So that's really our goal. And of course, I wanted to actually, I was just thinking about this. I wanted to really help with the community too, to the help of my business too. So I wanted really to teach financial literacy because it is really one of the important things that we need to learn. It's not really how much money we have, but we really need to know where to allocate or how to do with that money.
I really like that you said it's not about how much money you have. It's all about, allocating it wisely, making sure you're setting aside or saving your money wisely. So as we can see, for our audience viewers, there are different types of goals for each person. It really depends where you are in life. Brother Brian's goals and Sister Roxanne's goals differ, but they are big goals to have. And again, it just depends where you are in life. And so even for myself, one of my financial goals is to be more wise in my spending and save and set aside an actual savings in terms of investment. So that's something that we're going to be talking about today. So, when it comes to saving and really budgeting, Sister Roxanne, if you could touch on, the best ways to really track your money or set aside or, portion out your money when it comes to budgeting.
Okay. Actually, at the process, the first thing that I want to share is, or to suggest, is really to build it solid. So we need to have a solid financial foundation. So because we can build, we have a lot of financial goals, but in the end, we need to lessen the risk. So because even though you save a lot, for example, you save money in the bank and then something happen, life happens like accident, sickness. So we really need to be our foundation for our financial should be really solid. So with our financial goals, we need to be realistic. We always hear the smart word that should be specific, measurable, something like that. But we really need to set goals realistic and specific. So we need to know what are, for example, for college education. So how much really do we need? We need to really list that. So, and how much, for example, if you're gonna start before for example, for me, my kids, so I have one 2 years old and one 7 years old. So how many years do I need to save for that goal? So it's really need to be you need to list it down. Sometimes if it's in our head, sometimes we forget, we sometimes
Mhm.
like for example, for me, I have a lot of responsibilities, so I really need to list it down. So I really have
Mhm.
my notebook, my planner, that I'm listing all of this. And we need to really create a budget. Like we really need to be specific in allocating our expenses.
I agree. Making sure it's realistic. Brother Brian, how were you able to be able to do that to achieve some of your goals that you accomplished in the past years when it came to
Um,
budget? Yeah.
yeah, sure, I can answer that. So I started out learning about how to invest, how to purchase your first rental property. So I really started with a solid foundation on what I wanted to accomplish first, which was to buy my first property. And then once that started to build, I began looking at the second property that I wanted to buy, and then the third, and then eventually. It led me to pivoting my investment strategy towards just group homes, because a lot of investment strategies, a lot of goals, they change over time. So my strategy changed over the years, and currently I'm focused on the group home business. Uh,
Hmm.
but to start, I mean, to get started, it's really just having a thirst for knowledge, and for and having a desire for a stable and brighter future, where
Were
you
you
don't.
always like a good saver when it
Mhm.
came to that stuff? Do you
Yes,
think? Oh, you were.
I've always been a frugal person. So like naturally, I like incline like I lean towards like more towards investing. Since like there's only so much you can do with saving. The next step is investing, which I know that we're going to talk about later today.
Mhm. Why do you think it's more important I mean, saving is important itself, but why do you think it's more efficient to invest rather than to just save up your money?
It's because there's only so much interest that you can gain from just saving your money. After you have established a solid emergency fund and you've paid off high interest debt, then you can move on to investing. That you can move on to um, putting your money towards something that will make you more money in the future.
Ah, so it's all about growing and not just staying stagnant. And not that Roxanne is like nodding her head, yes, like yes. And it's about growing your money too, for a brighter future. And I really love that. And we're going to touch more on that. For now, we're going to go on a short station break. But when we come back, we're going to review all of your comments and all of your questions that we have. We're going to do a quick MTS challenge with our author Roxanne and continue on in this discussion on financial literacy. Again, we'll be right back. You're tuning in here on INCU Radio, Mountain States.
You are listening to Iglesia Ni Cristo Radio, the voice of truth.
Is there something you would like to try this year that you have never done before? Share with us at INCRadio Hong Kong Satellite Studio this Sunday, January 21. Don't miss our discussion from 11 a.m. to 12 noon, Philippine Standard Time. Join us and get inspired to try something new this year. See you there!
When was the last time you made someone smile? When was the last time you made friends with others? Include, invite, befriend. A small gesture of friendship can make someone's day. A message from INCRadio Mountain State Satellite Studio.
And we are back here on INCRadio Mountain States. If you didn't catch that earlier promotion, it was for INCRadio Hong Kong. Make sure we are supporting our other INCRadio families, especially with their topic in trying something new for the new year. Super awesome. Thanks, INCRadio Hong Kong. So, again, we are on financial literacy. So make sure you ask all your questions now while we have our wonderful panelists here. For now, though, we are going to go to our INCRadio MTS challenge. So I'm going to throw it over to Ate Roxanne for our MTS challenge.
MTS Challenge.
Okay, thank you, Ate Princess. Okay, so I prepared for some words that we can learn from today's discussion. So also to give you some words about tips also with money. So okay, so Kuya Tek, are you ready? So I prepared some jumble words. So I'm gonna read something about a word, and you're gonna guess what kind of word. What is that word? So. Okay, so for our first word, Kuya Tek, can you show it to us? Okay.
Ooh.
All right, so our live chat, team live chat, they can type in their answer for this, okay, and also us also here. So first word, it's actually an interest accumulated from a principal sum or a previously accumulated interest. We call it most of the time interest on interest.
Okay.
So,
I don't know.
Ate Macy, you know that, Ate Macy?
Is that compound interest?
Yeah, show it. Kuya Tek?
Wow.
Is that compound interest? Kuya Tek.
There it is.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Congrats, Ate Macy. Okay,
Let's see.
second word.
And actually, Brother Anthony Oronga from #Salt Lake City also got the correct answer, compound interest. And then Sister Ina answered back with interest on interest. Sister Shayna, good job, compound interest, as well as Brother Gary Ilaga and Sister Litzy and Brother Rod.
All right, congratulations. Okay, second word, Kuya Tek. Okay, so this is what we talk about the first few tips about setting financial goals. It should be this two. We know the word smart, but this two is the two that I mentioned.
Blank and blank.
So
I'm
in
trying.
setting goals, it should be this two.
I remember you said realistic, but that's not any of the letters. It should be.
Team
I
live
don't.
chat.
Team
You're
live
close.
chat.
Actually, at the Princess, you're getting close.
I
Keep on that. Yeah.
I don't know.
Specific and realistic.
Oh yes, there you go, Brother
Was-
Brian. Yeah, that's correct. Kuya
Oh,
Tek, show the
I
answer.
was close. Okay.
Yes.
I was looking at the first row. I didn't look at the second row. I was trying to.
Yes. So it's specific. Kuya Tek. I think Kuya Tek is sleeping. No, I'm joking.
Just trying to
Kuya
figure it out
Tek?
still.
Okay. So yeah, so in setting goals, it should be specific and realistic. That is the two most important thing, Okay, third word.
Just a quick congrats to Sister Malka Nukum. She got the right answer, specific and realistic. And
Thank
also,
you.
yeah. All right.
Ooh, what is this?
Okay, so this one. Okay, hold on. So this word, hold on, someone called me. Okay, so this one is a cash reserve that's specifically set aside for unplanned expenses or financial.
I'm trying to figure out the second word first because it has less letters.
You got this. I'm waiting for Team Live Chat too. Yeah, and there you go. We have the first answer from Sister Malka and Brother Rod. They said emergency fund. Sister Nicole emergency fund. Brother Anthony Arong also said emergency fund. So let's see. Are they correct? Ate Roxanne.
Kuya Ted?
Yes.
Yay,
Good
correct.
job, my
Emergency
Pat.
fund. So this is an important fund that we need to set aside in building our
Mhm.
financial goals.
Nice.
So last word. Kuya
Yes.
Ted, show to us the last
I'm gonna
word.
get this one, I promise.
Okay. So
I know this one.
this one is
I
very
know it.
easy.
So easy. Can I
So
say it?
it's a process of calculating your how much money you have and or you earn and how much money you will like planning you spend it.
I
So
know what it is, Ate. Is it budgeting?
yes,
Okay, my confidence is
correct.
no longer low. I was
Okay, you
like,
got
how
it
am I
right
not that
at the
easy?
princess. Yeah. So yeah, so that's our four words for today. I hope our live YouTube live chat learn like especially the compound interest. So some of the people really they don't know how it works, but it's actually a powerful tools that we can use in saving and investing.
Awesome. That was so fun. Thanks, author Roxanne, for your fun MTS challenge. Great. Zach, if we could go back to our focus view and then we'll move on with our discussion. So, some of the things that our panelists did touch on was investments, right? Brother Brian touched on it. And then Sister Roxanne, we actually want to also hear your insight on it. So, if you can actually talk a little bit about investment at the Roxanne, just so our viewers can understand it more.
Okay, Ate Princess. Actually, Kuya Brian mentioned that we need to save, but also we need to invest. So it's not enough to just save because saving will just eat up the inflation. So inflation is something. For example, just for an is for us to understand it easy. For example, if you're saving $5,000 for the next 3 years, and you're just gonna save 5,000 today, so because of inflation, it's gonna eat up the 5,000. So it will lessen the value of the 5,000. So after 3 years, you need that 5,000. It's no longer 5,000 in value because of inflation. So
Mm.
that's why we really need to not just save but also invest. Using a compound interest in savings is actually a powerful tool for us to really maximize the savings that we have or the investment that we have, because there are goals we have. Of course, we have long-term goals, we have short-term goals, so it really depends on the goal that you're preparing, and there's different tools for us to use, depends on the goal that you really want to achieve first. So that's actually because I've seen people, they really save money, especially with the bank. I'm okay with that, but the money in the bank is just for emergency, because emergency fund should be liquid, that anything happens, you have that money, you can get that money immediately.
Mm.
So emergency fund should be most of the time, what I suggest is 3 to 6 months of your income. So just in case something happen, like you get laid off or emergencies, you have that money that you can access immediately. So there are emergency fund, and you have the investment fund. So yeah.
I see. I just want to read one of the comments that mentioned for Brother Brian. It was from Sister Mari Chris. She said, Brother Brian, you are very mature, and your future family and wife will be very lucky, very blessed, very financially, what's that word? Literate. Like you know how to spend your money, you know how to allocate it. Well, Brother Brian, I know you had some things that you did want to share with our viewers. Let's go ahead and go to you. And can you share what you had prepared for us in terms of, investment or even budgeting?
Yeah, sure. Since we're already on the topic of investing, I just wanted to touch a little bit more about the awesome power of compound interest. So, like what Ate Roxanne mentioned, compound interest is the interest that someone earns on your original investment, plus the interest earned on the interest that accumulated over time. So, for example, let's say you make $100 over over 1 year for an initial investment of $1,000. For the following year, you will gain interest on the $1,100 that you earn in the first year, so on and so forth. So your money will continue to gain interest and will compound over time from the interest that you continue to accumulate, if that makes any sense. So over time, it will keep growing. And the most important thing about investing is time. Time is the hugest or the biggest factor when it comes to growing your money. So the money that you initially invest, sure, it won't make a lot of money in the first 1 to 3 years, but as time goes on, your nest egg will continue to grow from the interest. And over time, after 5, 10, 30, 40 years, that'll compound exponentially because of the power of compound interest. And the real growth occurs after a lot of time happens. In about 10 to 20 years, you'll really start to notice a huge amount of growth with the money that you initially invested in.
I see. I just want to rewind a little bit prior to having the stage of investing, because there are people like myself, I refer to myself when I say people, that might have trouble saving. So how do I know, maybe we can ask Dr. Roxanne, the best way to start off building that foundation? Because both of you touched on having a strong foundation, right? Especially when it comes to our finances. So what are the very early steps we can take to make sure we know how to save properly before investing our money? Because I feel like we should have that set savings before having let me know your thoughts. If we should have a set savings before investing more money, at the Roxanne, if you could kind of touch on that.
Yeah, okay. At the princess, for actually most of my clients, when I talk to them, they will say, "Oh, I don't have money to save." So if you really cannot save money, the only way that you can save money is to uh, add your cash flow. So for example, if you're working right now, you can start maybe a side business that you really like to do or you love doing, and you can do it part-time while you have a full-time job, or if you don't want to, if you don't want to do another business, a side business, or you will say, no, I'm not into business, I'm not into that. So the second thing that you can do is to adjust your expenses. For example, if your salary, for example, is 5,000 a month, and then you really need to list it down. So you really need to list down all. Sometimes we really cannot, what's this, like we're earning 5,000, then we're spending 6,000. So you really cannot, save with that kind of attitude. So we need to really know how much and where our money is going. So we really need to be committed. That's actually, if you really if you really want to save, you really need to be committed on saving no matter what. So if you, it depends. If you want to do a percentage, like for example, 10% of my income I will allocate in savings. So no matter what, you're gonna allocate that 10%, but it depends to you. So because um you have no choice. You really need to save. You need to save for future goals. You need to save to invest. You need to save for emergency. So there's really I don't think people doesn't really need to do that. We really need to do that. But we just need to decide to be committed that, okay, no matter what. So I know, like for younger people at the princess, oh, let's go eat somewhere, let's go drink. I feel like I want to have coffee today, so or I feel like I want to have some boba. But it's okay, because in some way you're rewarding yourself, especially if you really work so hard. But there's another way of paying yourself in a way of savings, because really it's a long term goal that you will achieve, because that's short term, and it's okay. I didn't say that it's not okay, it's okay, but you really need to plan for the long term goals. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And maybe Brother Brian and I can talk about this a little too. I mean, Brother Brian, you said you've always been frugal. And I think for our generation, we like Author Roxanne mentioned, we do want to eat out with friends. Like that's how we spend our time. We want to grab a cup of coffee, but sometimes that cup of coffee every day turns from like $5 a week to $25 a week. You mentioned early on in the show that it's really about your mindset. Can you kind of elaborate or build on that really on, what kind of started your mindset to be frugal so early on and how has that helped you now?
So I've learned at an early age that I'm not a very materialistic person, so that kind of helps. I'm not much of a consumer. I don't really buy expensive products. I don't buy like designer clothing or anything like that. So I put my focus on saving when I first started my nursing career, when I, you know, started making money. Um, but I think it's really important, especially for like people in our generation and even those in Generation Z, that they should understand the importance of saving more than you spend. Because no matter how much money you make, if you spend more than you make, then who's really making money? It's definitely not the person who spends more than they make. So if you really understand that principle, saving more money than you can make, just starting there, that alone will make a big difference on how you view your finances and how you establish your future and how you want the rest of your life to be.
Mm, I like that. It kind of brings me to what my Lola used to tell me. She would always say, you better double the amount of money you're going to make before you spend money. So, example, if said I would spend $5, I better make $10 first before I spend the $5. And even just another thing that I remember having conversations with friends is like, just because we have the money, that doesn't mean we need to spend it. Sometimes it's just so fun to spend money though. But what you're saying is all correct. Even at the Roxanne, I think it's an important lesson to really learn. Before we move on,
I have some
Sister
interesting
Macy, yes,
comments here at the
yes,
Princess
please,
Radio
please.
One. So we have Sterenalis agreeing, saying that saving money before investing in the long run so that you have enough. And then she said invest more after that, and then start gaining money from your investments. And then she also said your 401k is one of the good ways to save money for your retirement. So that's another thing to consider. And then um, uh, this other brother or sister that we have, I couldn't pronounce the name, she mentioned also budget those splurges into your monthly plan. Maybe the things that you like, maybe that cup of coffee that you enjoy, or that avocado toast that you enjoy. Why not? Budget it, maybe a little bit of that, so that you don't feel deprived, is what they say here. And then it also says, make sure you pay your debts before it accumulates too much interest, and use those, debt, credit cards, all of those wisely. Okay, what an interesting topic at the
Yeah.
Princess. Our live chat viewers are really enjoying this, and I can see how much they're learning from our two panelists, Ate Roxanne and Kuya Brian. Thank you.
Yes. I'm also excited because I'm also watching the live chat a lot. Just to touch on credit cards, one thing that I mean, I don't know if this is a general rule for everybody or if it works. It's really personal preference, but I also am very big on credit cards. I love using credit cards wisely just because of the benefits. Like I have a specific card for travel. I have a specific card for my gas. I have a specific card for my online spending. And with that, I get rewards, whether it be cashback or points, so that I could utilize that. It's kind of spending like the credit card company's money before mine, and then I just pay that off appropriately or as need be. What do you think about that, Author Roxanne? Is that a good financial move on my end?
Yes, Ate says so. That's okay. I am doing that too. I got cards that has a lot of cashback. It's one way of spending. Then you get a rebate. But also I will mention because Ate Macy already mentioned that about the 401. So in investing, we really need to educate ourselves. It's because there's a lot of people, myself, I will say, oh, this is a good investment, this is a good savings for you to start with. But as for ourselves, we really need to educate ourselves because investment and savings depends on your goal and depends on your needs. So and the only one who can really tell you what specific investment savings that you can start is yourself, because you're the one knowing that. But also, if you really don't know, there's person like too busy to research on all of that. So if you cannot do that, then just hire someone that is professional with that, or someone that is knowledgeable with that, with financial, so that you can work together, they can help you, someone you trust. So also with investing, you need to diversify your portfolio. In investing, you need to know, okay, for this kind of investment I have this, for this kind of investment, I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but there's a lot of investments. So for example, for real estate. So real estate investment, you really need to have money with that. I don't know if I'm right there, Brian, but it's expensive to really invest in real estate. So because of that, you need to save really ahead of time before you start investing. So you need to accumulate money first. For example, you have money in the bank, you have money on savings in 401. Actually, 401 is a good tool, but there's also, you need to consider taxes. Like here in America, there's a lot of taxes rules, there's a lot of penalties. Like for 401, if you withdraw it before you're 59 and a half, there's penalty and taxes. But if you withdraw your 401 after 60, there's no more penalty, but there's still taxes. And if I'm right, depends on the states, it's 30% for the
Oh.
taxes. So they really don't explain that to us when we get our, because when I came here, I said, oh, 401, because there are companies giving that really 401 for retirement plan, but it's not enough. There's also social security retirement. So we really need to know. For social security, you can actually, there's a website that you can go, and you can type in all your information, and you will have an estimate how much social security income you can get. So it depends. For example, when you retire, you need, for example, 5,000. So how much you will get from your social security, from your 401, from your money in the bank, from your money in your investment. So we really need to diversify all of those things, and really need to be educated for all of that thing at the princess.
Yes. The 401k is not the end all be all, right? Brother
Yeah.
Brian.
So
Yes, and at the Roxanne, sorry. But I know Brother Brian and I have also talked about this with our other friends, that 401k is not the end all be all. There's also the um, Roth IRA, if I'm not mistaken, right?
yes, ate. There's
Uh-huh.
traditional, and then there's the the traditional, and I forgot, Roth IRA, yeah.
Yes.
So there's two types of that. So we can actually, there's a lot here. It's actually the here in the US, because I was in the Philippines, I was a licensed financial consultant in the Philippines. There's a lot ways here to save money and to invest for us
Mm-hmm.
to grow wealth. So it's actually a good thing here.
Brother Brian, is there anything you wanted to add with that, especially when it comes to educating our financial literacy?
Yeah, do your own research, um, specific to the goals that you want to accomplish. Let's say, for example, you want to get started in investing. There's a lot of platforms online, a lot of books that you can read, a lot of podcasts. I mean, we're in the information age where information is abundant. It's everywhere. So there really isn't any excuse for those who want to learn about investing, and to actually take action on it. So that would be my first piece of advice, to do your research.
Mhm. So, when it comes to our finances, and this is just a general statement for everyone, it's important to also just constantly review and adjust. And I know that's something that Ate Roxanne also mentioned, is making sure that it's according to your goal, right? Brother Brian, with you, do you have like regular adjustments or reviews of your finances to adjust to any goals that you've set?
Yeah, all the time. Like I mentioned, when I first started investing in real estate, my goal was to buy like a dozen houses. And then that completely changed when I realized that I could reach my goals faster by just investing in one home with a group home business. So I pivoted, a couple of years later, and now my strategy is different, and thankfully my timeline has also shortened.
Mm. The question is there something you wish you could tell your past self for in terms of like a financial advice to your past self?
Anything that I would tell my past self, um, to always be wary of others, to be cautious, but optimistic,
Mm.
because there's a lot of people who do bring a lot of value to your business and to your goals, but there's also a lot of people who want to take advantage of you, and that's what happened early in my career. But thankfully, I'm okay. To tell you the truth, I wouldn't change anything because of the lessons that I've learned from those
It's
mistakes.
trial and error, right? So that's awesome though. And I love that. I didn't realize how much your goal financially like really pivoted from buying a dozen houses to just investing in the one home. That's really awesome. At the Roxanne, we're about to close our discussion, but is there any important advice to our viewers that you can give them when it comes to financial literacy?
Yeah, so Adi Princess, I actually with Kuya Brian, I just want to actually congratulate him because he started when he's early as his young age. How old are you, Kuya Brian? Is that a secret or no? Because it's actually one of the strength that you have. You started early because when I learned all of this, I was already 30 and I'm 32 right now. No, I'm joking. So, how old are you, Kuya Brian? Are you like 20 something?
28, but
Oh, see, so you started early. I think that's
Wow.
one of the asset that you have because you started early. So at the princess, so we're about to start because I saw Kuya Ron. Okay, we're
Yes.
about to end. So yeah, so my tips will be just educate yourself. If research that what Kuya Brian said, just research, do your own research because nobody can tell you that, oh, this is what you need, this is what. And if you need help, ask for a professional about that. So there's a lot of ways for us to learn and take time because sometimes we are so busy with our life, with our work, and we don't take because it's a process being financially educated. It's a process. It's not just a one time seminar you attend, you already knew everything, and no, it's
Mhm.
not. So it's a process. We really need to be patient with that too because it takes time to know all the financial knowledge that we need.
Yes.
So also of course pray at the princess because
Mm.
everything that we have, everything that we want, everything that we plan, if it's not in God's will, if it's not in God's plan, it's impossible for us to achieve it. And also
Mhm.
just continue to perform our duties in the church. So we need to have a balanced life too. Because I
Yes.
think it all sums up if you really want to be successful, not just in financial matter, but also with everything.
Mhm.
So that's actually one of the few things that I want to uh, let our listeners and viewers right now.
Awesome. I love that. That's awesome advice, Ate Roxanne. And Brother Ryan, we learned a lot from you as well. The big takeaways, if I could pull from them, really it's about your mindset, staying consistent with your goals, uh, especially when you're trying to achieve them. There's always room for adjustment, but you have some really strong-headed brethren here, our panelists, and especially Brother Brian, you're getting a lot of kudos from our audience and our viewers. Just congratulating you and really a lot of admiration for what you've been able to do, especially in our 20s. There's a lot of things that we want to achieve in our 20s, and I feel like you're a really great role model to look up to. So thanks, Brother Brian and Ate Roxanne, for all your insight. But of course, brethren, we want to make sure that in making a righteous means of living, we always have to spend wisely and set aside wisely, especially when we set aside for our Almighty God in our offerings. So I know this is a very discussion full of what's the word, information, and a lot of our brethren really enjoy the topic. So hopefully we can have another series of this down the line to specify more on what we've spoken about today. For now, at the Maze, if you could just promote next week's broadcast and read maybe just like a few comments before we close out the final show.
Absolutely. And we definitely need a part 2 of this at the Roxanne and Brother Brian, because it is needed, not just for this generation, but even the generations before this, who might not be very financially literate, will benefit from this a lot. I can see huge engagement from our brethren right now on the live chat. I'll just see to prove to you how effective this topic is today. I'm going to read this really good comment from our brethren. So some of our brethren are actually grocery shopping at the moment while listening to us on INCRadio, and they said, while we're shopping, we are still watching. So now we are skipping the middle section, the middle section where they have all these like random things that you can buy at a grocery store. And we are going straight to the meat and veggies section, talking about wants versus needs, right? They're going to go straight to what their needs so that they don't have to spend on other things. Sister Lena Dumayak has also a very good comment here. She said, spend within our means. That's from #Denver. And then Brother Cromwell says financial management is very important so that we're able to save up money. Please build good credit score. That's what Sister Rosalinda Baliada has said. And lastly, brothers and sisters, as we continue to invest for our future or invest for our financial goals, please also do not forget to invest in our spiritual life by always following the commandments for Almighty God and giving our services to our duties unto Him. So back to you guys in the studio. We are out of time. At the Princess, please watch us next Saturday, okay, for another INC Radio topic. INC Radio Mountain States, 3 p.m. 3 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Mountain Time.
And so, of course, we want to give our special thank yous to our beloved church administration, especially Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our executive minister, Brother Angelo Rania Manalo, our CEO, president of Subsea, CFO coordinator, Brother Arnel Solano, our station manager, Brother Manly and our executive producer, Brother Lowell Newcomb, our district minister, Brother Oliver Canlas, our assistant district minister, Brother Christian Ross, our CFO overseer, Brother Justin Ramos, our district multimedia advisor, the district multimedia team, and all of our avid listeners of INC Radio. We have hit 4 o'clock, so continue to stay tuned always to INC Radio DCEM 954, changing lives through God's words. And up next is INC Radio Canada. We'll see you all soon. Thank you. Bye. See you, everyone. Thank you, Paul, for joining.